just came across the wire a couple hours ago that Caitlin Clark will indeed not be on the 24 Olympic team, which is coming up very soon. This is next month, matter of fact, over in Paris. She's been left off. USA Today, Christine Brennan said snubbed, and then Christine Brennan wrote an article just basically ripping USA Basketball for not taking advantage of an opportunity to promote their sport and so on and so on. Here's the thing about that before I get to some of the discourse and some of the media coverage on Caitlin Clark. On merit, on skill, on just the first question I ask myself when I see something like this, does she deserve to be on a team from a standpoint? Is she amongst the best 12 to 15 players in the world? And the answer to that is no. She's not amongst the best 12 to 15 players in the world. From that standpoint, she didn't deserve to be on the team. Now, there's a case, if you want to go to the marketing, branding, growing the game route, you can go that route. If she were on that team, there would be all eyes definitely would be on her. The women's game would get way more attention. We understand that, but you got to be. The WNBA is in a tough spot here because I've heard at least Leslie said she absolutely should have been on the team, and there are some reports that there was some infighting amongst the top ranks, the powers that be, that wanted her on the team versus people who says let's pump the brakes here. But there was a report that said that one of the reasons why she wasn't on the team was because of the outrage that her fans that USA Basketball would receive if she was barely playing. Here's the thing there's two things about that. Number one, what that tells me is that this was a brutal decision, that this was absolutely a tough decision for USA Basketball, that they kind of went back and forth. That's number one. Number two is from a standpoint of merit and basketball skill and just deserving to be on a team, that she shouldn't have been on the team, because you're not talking about any other Olympian not getting playing time if you feel like they deserve to be on the team. Like, you're just not. If you believe someone has to be on the team, you'll think that they're going to get that they're going to get at least enough minutes to where no one's going to complain about a lack of playing time, or you're going to let it play out depending on the matchups and how she plays and what have you. I give USA Basketball some credit somewhat for not bowing down to the pressure that there's a push for Caitlin Clark from Caitlin Clark fans and even some certain parts of the media who feel like Caitlin Clark should be given just everything, and who feel like Caitlin Clark should be, we should just bow down for Caitlin Clark at every turn. She should be on the Olympic team. I'm sure she's going to get strong push to be on the All-Star game. I'm sure she's going to. There's that momentum is happening at a rapid rate, and we are constantly being reminded of how important Caitlin Clark is to the league. And basically, there are people out there who think Caitlin Clark is bigger than the league, based off popularity and based off ratings and things of that nature. Here's the thing, right? And I want to dispel. We need to dispel facts from feelings. Does Caitlin Clark have an impact on the women's game, had a dramatic impact on the women's game? Of course. Last night, she's in D.C. There were 20,000 people sold out to watch two teams that were combined like 3-20 play a competitive game that went down to the wire, in which she had 30 points and put on the show. And by the way, no one has said, despite the fact that she struggled with turnovers and shooting percentage, no one has said that she can't play. I haven't heard that. But she struggled from that standpoint. But she's getting better. She's starting to incrementally put things together and figure some things out. And she's a rookie. And we all said that a lot of people, Diane Taurasi said that this could be a tough transition from the short turnaround, and also in terms of the level of competition, period. All these things can be true. But there again, there's a course of this country, media and otherwise, that want to push Caitlin Clark to the forefront, or want to create this narrative that Caitlin Clark, that that the WNBA is nothing without Caitlin Clark, that the previous 27 years or 26 years of the WNBA have been rendered meaningless in terms of what that league has been building until Caitlin Clark has gotten here. And that is completely it's not the case whatsoever. We can't be dismissive of this other great rookie class that Caitlin Clark is a part of. Is she at the forefront as far as notoriety? Without question. But is she the only one that should be getting paid attention to? No. And I'm glad that we've had a media that there's been a faction of media that have called that out. Now, here's the thing about the numbers and ratings, right? 2023, this is sportspromedia.com. If you want to check out the numbers, this is where I got this from. If you want to check it out for yourself. This is dated September 14th, 2023. The WNBA scored its most watched regular season in 21 years, with combined viewership across ABC, CBS, ESPN, and ESPN2 up 21% over the previous campaign. Caitlin Clark at this point was in college. She was not yet in the league in 2023, as we all know. The WNBA broadcast averaged 627,000 viewers on ABC, making it the most viewed regular season on the network in 11 years. The All-Star Game, the most watched in 16 years. The regular season, the WNBA had a successful season outside of TV audiences, with regular season attendance going up 16% compared to the previous year. The highest total attendance across the season in 13 years. Social media handles went up 96% versus the 2022 campaign. Digital apps up 400%. League pass package was up 257%. All of this occurred before Caitlin Clark ever stepped foot on a WNBA court. I bring this up because, again, there is this narrative that the league, before Caitlin Clark was drafted in late May, was falling apart, and basically that the league was going to be out of business if Caitlin Clark doesn't come along. That is not the case. She's not bigger than the league. She's not. And it's been interesting with the media coverage, right? There have been kind of three factions of media. You got the Johnny-come-latelys who stand out, Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharpe, who want you to basically bow down to Caitlin Clark with the red carpet treatment and kiss her ass at every turn. That's what they want you to do. Protect Caitlin Clark. Protect Caitlin. What the fuck does that even mean, protect Caitlin Clark? And basically what they'll bring up is money, 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 money. They're appeasing, the racial aspect of this, they're appeasing to an audience that, again, doesn't know too much about the WNBA, because there are a ton of other superstars and stars in the WNBA, and the WNBA has been building what it's been building for, again, 26 years. They're pleasing to an audience that I guarantee you, number one, is not only pushing up, promoting Caitlin Clark, but tearing down black women as well. Because you hear the jealousy of Caitlin Clark. You hear that players getting accused of trying to hurt her, players getting accused of being jealous. All of this coincide. All of this is connected. And when you talk about the tearing down of black women, there's absolute currency in the tearing down of black women. If I say that, hey, Caitlin's going to be great, she's going to be great for the league, she'll be rookie of the year, I think she's going to be one of the greatest of all time, that's one thing. But if I also, on the other hand, say these women should be grateful for Caitlin Clark and so on, that's another thing. Or there's jealousy or they're jealous of her, that's another thing.